Hello everyone, this is Baduk, and we are back with another, I guess it's a 1Q game on Tygem. We decided to start playing, so let's just jump right into a game. That did not take very long. I am black, and let's see if they stay. All right, cool. I've been doing 2-4-4s lately. Let's do this 3-4. When I say lately, I mean on stream. Let's enclose this corner. I generally like to enclose or approach any 3-4 points first. So that feels good. And we'll play simple and just back off. It looks like we're actually playing a 1 Dawn in this game. I don't know if that means there is no Komi or not, but something to keep in mind. There might not be Komi. I just like to answer to keep things simple. Ah, good. He played normal moves. So if he gets this enclosure, he can kind of try to build on this side. But I can also press this down and build a wall facing the bottom. So I like the idea of approaching on the bottom first. If he kicks and backs off, lets me make this, then now if he encloses over here, I can press this down. But it looks like he doesn't really want to do that. I have a couple options. I'm sort of building right now, so it might be good for me to try to get something here. Or I could take the 3-3 point or approach. Let's see how he responds to this move. This is an old move that is trying to get some influence here. Now we can press him down. And as you can see, we've got a lot of free moves in this area. So now we have a lot more potential here. We could push, but it doesn't seem very good right now. But now that there are 2 moves here on either side of the 4-4 point, it's good to take the 3-3. When the other option would be to sort of solidify this area. I think I'll do a 3-3. Feels a little bit more active. I want him to jump in. He could do a double Hane here, but that would just destroy his points over here. And I would just be alive, I think. He is going to do it. So there's another option I have here, which is the Hane on this side and cut. Let him take this, but I try to take the bottom side. Let's try to do that, just to show you something different here. I cut here. And now there is this double Atari he has to fix. So you want to Atari me out? I should extend. So he didn't really want to give me anything. So now I can just go back and capture this stone. And I have a little bit of forcing moves on this side now. This should be good enough. I could have tried to fight back really severely, but I think this is fine. So I can just live on one side and not worry about the other one. I'm looking up, that's where the screen is. I guess I can look down here as well. He's trying to cut through this area, but it's not really that big of a deal. We're hunting on the outside because we don't really care. We can hunt again. And just keep taking it all. These stones are not important. They were all just forcing moves. They don't matter in any way whatsoever. And now we do have some cutting points here. I don't mind connecting here now. If he turns, what I have is some strength with my group over here. Does it matter? Can he kill this group? He has to be very, very aggressive to try to kill. So I will just keep surrounding instead and not worry about it. What this was before were just some loose stones. And now I'm getting something that's a lot more solid and put together, which feels good. I'm just going to stay connected. In order to kill this, he really does have to try very hard. I think I can get this move in Sente because this Atari would allow me to capture the stones. So let's reinforce my shape. These stones are not too important, but they're quite big. And it looks like I could play this move to try and work with my group here, but I'm not sure how important it is. We have this really large area, so it feels good to just solidify it right now. And with these two stones here and this Atari on the side, this makes it a little bit easier to try to invade on this side if I want to. So I think I will just take my points. This is really, really close to my wall, so that feels a little bit bad. If I do the Knight's move, he might be able to attach underneath, and might have some weakness there. No, it seems like it's fine. I can do the Knight's move here. Usually when attacking these stones, that's what you want to do. If you're worried about the weakness, you can do the Kosumi instead. But here, I don't really care. Because if he takes away this little area, I'm going to be getting this area instead. That move is interesting. I can just connect. And then I can block. He needs another move to make his shape good here, but it's kind of difficult to do that. He has a little bit of a weak point here. If I play it right away, it looks possible to do something to him. So let's poke at his weak point, because it feels like I'm very strong in the area, and he shouldn't really be able to do this. He should have probably played a little bit more close, I think. So now I have a couple options. If I do this wedge, he Ataris me here. I connect. There's 3 liberties to 3 liberties. If he Ataris me from the outside and I connect, these 2 stones are just dead. So I could do this one. If he doesn't respond, I push and then I can Hane.
Overtime countdown,
which would kill him. So he'd have to connect. And I could just come from the outside and make some strength. I think that might be the right choice. Sacrifice the 2 stones. Force him to live small. Just make strength. He has to be a little bit careful here. He needed to try to live directly, but it doesn't look like he was going to do that. So if I Hane, this is a thing you got to read out, I guess. So I should Hane to just reduce his eye space. So if I play here, can I kill him? It looks possible. If he captures, I back off. If he clamps to me, I back off. If he captures, then I can just clamp to him back. And there's nothing here to make an eye. So it looks like I should just play the vital point here. He does have this move, and so we'll see if he plays something to try to take advantage of this area. But this is not quite the right one. I'm not sure what it does. I'll just connect. I can just block. My area on the outside is quite strong. So I don't really have much to worry about. The only thing I think he can try is this clamp here. If he plays this move, I can play here to make a bulky 5 shape. And if he plays over here, I can do this, which makes 2 different bulky 5 potential shapes. He needed to be a little bit more conservative in how he was trying to live here. He's jumping in quite deep, but he does have some Aji here. So I think I'm perfectly fine in backing off. And if he tries to cut me, I let him cut me, and I jump out.
9, 8.
But I can
7,
just take
6.
my territory on the bottom. I don't need to try to kill this stone, since this side should be dead. Okay, it's running out. I do have some weakness here. And I could attack him in some way. I think I want to try to make this more of a 3D potential. Because if he cuts here,
8,
I have some eye
7.
shape. So I want to peep here, I think. This will also make him heavy if he responds. This helps make my area a little bit stronger. So I think this is a good peep. And I could jump out here. But I don't think I really need to attack this stone right now. I think what I want to focus on is potentially
9,
doing something on this
8,
left side.
7,
Or
6,
making sure I'm
5,
alive here on the
4,
top.
3, 2, 1.
I think I'm going to make sure I'm alive on the top. I think that's the simplest and most surefire way to be ahead in this game. That move, I don't quite understand. If he cuts me here, I do kind of want to end up playing this R18 move. So instead of connecting to keep everything safe that way, I'm going to take this move, which allows my corner to just be alive. And I can just play here to keep as little Aji as possible in the corner. It's a little bit small, but I will respond. If I was behind in the game, I would not respond to that Hane at all. It seems like it'd be too much. So this group is alive here. So he's focusing on trying to take this side, which makes sense. I can Atari here and jump here to at least have one eye no matter what, which means it looks possible for me to jump on this
8,
side.
7, 6, 5, 4.
But the most secure way is probably taking the corner. He can get rid of some of my points on the bottom, but I get rid of the points on the side, which seem really good. But this is something you should never do. Maybe if you're very far ahead, you can back off like this, but you should always try to fight back instead in this shape. I'm just going to push. This is a huge gain for me. I kind of want to connect, but I don't need to. This was a very, very large gain for me. So he has this weakness here, and he has some points over here that he wants to try to keep. So I think I want to try to
9,
get
8,
something in this
7,
position.
6.
So I'm going to invade high. If I invade low, that means I'm trying to live on the left side. But this invasion is more of a reduction. So if I do this and he connects up underneath, that would be very good for me. But this would also be fine for me. If I Hane here, I'm very close to alive. And now when I jump out here, he still needs to make sure his groups are going to be connected. So he has to jump. I think. He's going to jump that way, which is interesting. So if he cuts me here, I can always play over here to be connected on this side, and my corner's already alive. Which means I can just try to connect down this way if I want to, or I can jump this way. Let's just connect this way.
8,
Playing the tiger's mouth here, if he pushes, I can Hane and make really good shape and cut off this one stone in the middle. Because he let me connect up underneath here, well, this invasion stuff is not really a big deal. I do think it's good that he's trying to fight back here. But it might just be a little bit too late. I might have a really good shape already.
8, 7, 6, 5.
So what I wanted was him to
4.
push. So I'm going to play this move as if he had pushed me. And no, I'm not going to start counting. He just requested counting. It's not quite how this is going to work. I'm just going to extend and connect up my groups to this one stone. And the more he tries to stop me and attack me, the more shape I'm making here. As you can see, I already almost have 2 eyes. If I can make this dog's face jump,
9, 8,
then that's at least 1 more eye on this side. That's interesting. He's leaving himself open to be cut off. So let's jump this way. There is Aji with this move here, because I have this Atari as well. So he has to be a little bit careful with his shape on this side. Let's play this right away. So we're going to try to force him to live in this area, or force him to run away as best he can. And we can potentially make some eye space here. That's a bad move. That's getting rid of a liberty. He only has 1, 2, 3, 4 liberties here. If I do this one, well, I have to do this one no matter what. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I connect here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 liberties. So he probably wins this liberty race. But I was able to come in and get a little bit more of his territory taken away, and he probably has to capture these stones.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Actually, let's connect here. We're sharing 1 liberty. He should be winning. But let's just take the liberties here and force him to capture. Seems perfectly acceptable to do that. He does have this Atari thing here that's a little bit awkward for him. So he does need to be a little bit careful. It's possible I didn't even count the liberties correctly here. So I can go down here. I thought he was going to play it a little bit differently, but this should be fine. Looks like I get to capture the stones. I'll have to look at that after the game. If it worked, then I won't show it in the video. But if there was a way for him to survive, I'll definitely show that at the end. It felt like he should have been able to. He has quit the game. He's disconnected. So I will wait 3 minutes and see if he comes back. If he doesn't come back, you'll know. All right, so it seems like I won by disconnect. It was kind of an interesting game, though, so let's try to see where they went wrong and they could have played a little bit better. So the beginning here, nothing too strange. So a small note at the beginning here. This is probably not too big of a deal, but this move is just sort of an old school move. Nowadays, because of AI, we'll almost always see the corner enclosure instead. And probably this one would be lower instead of higher. But even a long time ago, this corner enclosure is slightly better because it's expanding towards other stones that you have. Now this side is a little bit low. However, it's still a possibility here. But nothing here is really going to be losing him the game. So I wanted to try to do something extra in this corner with this Hane. But really, there's a lot of fighting here if I really actually want to play this out. And it gets a little complicated, so I think it's still probably better just to capture this one stone. Because we are already in his territory. We've sort of ruined this top side for him. And there's still the possibility of getting something on this side, which is very annoying for white. So any sort of invasion on this side is going to be a little bit awkward if white has to let you run out this way. Because there's always a move here, and you're very likely just alive in this spot. So I think taking the corner like that is often not a good idea. It's often better, if we go back, to just extend here, even if it feels bad, because your stones don't really feel very efficient. But if we just keep going, it's similar to if I just captured the stone, a similar amount of Aji there, so it's not that big of a difference. But I think where he sort of went wrong here was that he tried to sort of cut through this area. And this is something that you should sort of understand here as on either side of this game, is that these 3 stones are completely unimportant. So anything that you do to capture these 3 stones doesn't really matter. You're capturing stones that are not doing something because they've already accomplished their goal. So this is too small to try to fight for. And yes, there is a potential weak group here, but if you try to attack this group with something like this and try to cut through it, then you also have to play here to prevent the 2 eyes from happening. If we just play simple like this group is already alive, right? So it's really difficult to attack this group severely. So right now, it's not a good time. But if you can get some moves on this side of the board, then maybe later you can attack. If you have a way to push me in a direction that is difficult for me to make this shape, then it becomes a possibility. So it's better to leave this attack for the future. What he should be doing here, this is like the new sort of AI move, is this sort of attachment would be fine. And at the very least, to be very simple, you could just approach here as white. The point right now is just to reduce what black has potentially here. Black was able to do that to you, so now you need to go back and do that to him. And you leave any sort of Aji over here until later. So I think that was actually the biggest mistake that was made here. Now there was a little bit of life and death later, which we'll get into. Let's go check that out. Because after I get to play this move, there is no longer a way to live on this side. Or if you do live on this side, I now get everything on the bottom. So for example, you could try to probe in the corner. If I say, no, you can't do anything here, you do have this sort of a move. And there's some sort of base here now. At the very least, you could also just attach here. And this is also making some sort of shape for the white stones. And I'm probably going to be able to live on one side. But it's unlikely that I'll be able to live on the right side. But the bottom is a lot more open, with a lot less strength right next to it. him coming in here was definitely too much. And this was a good try to live. So in the game I threw in, this is not necessary, but it just felt like a good timing for me. But instead of just connecting underneath, he should probably try to get something on the outside first, if it's at all possible, and then connect here to try to get just a little bit more eye shape. Now it looks a little bit more difficult to kill. Probably, he's probably alive, honestly. But in the game, he blocked there, and I got to surround him, and then he blocked like this, which doesn't make any sense. This surrounding move is not something I really have to play. What I should be playing if I want to kill him is this move here. But then he can come out here a little bit, and maybe he can't live, but I think it's simpler to surround first. So I play this move, then he can come back and live if he wants to. So after this group dies, and he plays a little bit too small, the game is over unless he can save his group right away. But it looks very difficult to do so. So even if he can reduce all of these points here, this death on this side is too much, which is why I don't care about him reducing here, even though this is very deep. I can probably try to kill this if I really want to. I was perfectly fine and happy to just take this bottom side. If I look at the score estimate here, it says that I should be ahead by at minimum 13 points if this group is alive. And I think that's all there really was. I don't believe there was another chance for him in the game. He did try to attack me later on, which was a good idea, but it was a little bit too much at this point because I have this Hane and I have this Atari over here. There's too much Aji here. If I can live anywhere, even if I sacrifice some stones, it's already more than good enough for me. So he has to really be aggressive and attack, but I'm very strong on the outside, so I have something I can run towards. And if he could maybe kill this top group, it would be possible, but I did have the time to come back and reinforce at age 17. So it seems like too much for my opponent to manage this game. So I hope you enjoyed this game, and I hope you're having a great new year, and have fun.